Konami Wai Wai World. Imagine a game where it features games and characters from other Konami titles into one. What you get is one of the best games on the NES. This was such a great game, especially when playing with a friend. I remember trying out the game at the game shop and begged my parents for it. Thinking back, I was a pretty spoiled kid. Video games weren't cheap back then, so it wasn't something you could just beg for and get. To be fair, I don't always get things I beg for. Sometimes I would make deals with my parents, like getting top score on a test in school. Now let's talk about the game. Your character name is Rico. Herb, the princess of the Wai Wai World, gets kidnapped and your job is to save her, with the assistance of legendary characters from other Konami titles like Contra, Castlevania, Goemon, Getsumaden, among others. You go through different stages from platforming to shooters and puzzle games. At the beginning, you are given a choice of groups of characters that you can transform into. Once you have made your choice, you are sent to the first stage. You start out as Rico. He can shoot a short distance projectile and also perform a double jump. Double jumping is one of my favorite mechanics in an action game. There's a world of difference in how much freedom in movement you can get just to be able to jump again mid-air. During the platforming stage, you can pick up an item that lets you transform into one of the characters from the group you have chosen, which is done by pressing up and attack while you're in mid-air. My favorite is always Bill from Contra, because of his long-range attacks and being able to shoot upwards. The only downside is his bullets are weaker than other attacks and has a smaller hitbox, meaning it is harder to hit the enemies. At the end of the first part of platforming, you then ride a personal plane and take to the air, transitioning into a shooter stage. This game really keeps you on your toes. One unique thing about this shooter stage is you can shoot forward and backwards depending on which button you press. After flying through the clouds, you approach and land inside a large ship. Inside the ship, we are back to platforming. The game is quite generous with giving you items. Picking up 10 white-collar angels gives you 1 extra life. And if you manage to pick up a shining one, it is equivalent to 8 pieces of white angels. Sometimes you will pick up an item with the letter H on it. This is a hyperbot that you can use to clear the screen of enemies by charging up your attack button for a few seconds and release it. I never really felt the need to use it, so sometimes I forget that I have it. Finally, we reach to the boss of the first stage. It is a flying ship that walks on feet. Its cannons has a longer range than your attacks, so it is best to hit it while it is moving. Well, unless you use Bill like I did here. Next up is the Mystical Ninja stage. It is another platforming stage, but this time in the world of the Mystical Ninja, Goemon. The enemies here are quite relentless, with the kabukis, the spear-dropping samurais, the spinning sumo wrestlers, and ninjas that throw flowers at you. The boss is this samurai, jumping on these spring toys I don't remember the name of, but I remember it was popular when I was a kid. This boss is a bit tricky, as it comes at you at a strange angle, slashing its sword at you that is longer than your attacks. After taking out the samurai, we reach to the first route choice. There will be several parts in this game where you can choose between 2 different stages. In here, we will be playing in a vertical shooter in the world of Twinbee. Twinbee is a shooting game where you attack enemies in the sky with your guns and throw bombs at enemies on the land. Clouds will float by you, and if you hit it with your gun, a bear will appear. The bear will change color depending on how many times you hit it with your gun. The color blue gives you speed up. The white bell provides power up for your gun. The red bell is a shield, and the shining bells gives you a mirror image. Focusing on juggling the bells to get the power up you want can often lead to getting hit by enemies, so always put your priority on your survival. The stages themselves are not very difficult, so you can easily clear it with a speed up or two. We get to choose two stages here, the Ball Island or RPG Island. The Ball Island is, as the name indicates, a stage of balls, where you will find pigs and chickens in a ball as enemies, and the boss is literally a giant ball that shoots out Narutos at you. Now I'm hungry for a nice bowl of ramen. The RPG Island is also, as the name states, an RPG themed stage where you will fight a dragon as the boss. Whichever way you choose, there is a bonus stage follow-up where you collect yellow bells. At the end of the stage, you will receive power-ups and extra lives depending on how many bells and items you have picked up. Next is the contrast stage. Right off the bat, you hear the iconic first stage BGM, but a bit arranged. I also like the little detail with the twin bee playing in the background, showing you how you got to this jungle. The soldiers are on skates instead of just running, and the red soldiers are as annoying as their original counterpart. As you move to the stage, aliens finally start to show up, and the boss is just an actual alien on a jet plane. Those cartooning eyes doesn't really make it any less creepy. After fighting all the soldiers and aliens in the jungle, we head to a wonderful world of Baby Upa. We're now hopping through giant cakes, Pockies, orange juice, and ice bars. If you transform to the Baby Upa, you can actually eat these giant cakes, which gives you extra lives. And there are these little blocks only Upa can open. In the next scene, we are in an upward scrolling stage as we swim up to avoid falling into the bottom of the screen. There isn't too much going on here, so there are a bit of a downtime. Feel free to make use of it as a short break. Once the stage slowly creeps up to the top, that is where the end of the stage is. What? Bosses? This is a baby's world. How dare you even suggest the idea of having a boss here? Nonsense. Next is another choice stage. We have the choice of going to Puzzle World or Race Go Go. If you are feeling unfulfilled from the baby stage, I will recommend heading the roads. I hope you have many lives stocked up because you will need it. Here we are on the racing stage. In here, the goal is to stay on the road without hitting the edge, falling out of the road, or touching the obstacles. Your car can jump, which you will need it to jump across broken roads, and sometimes to avoid the obstacles. There will be plenty of other cars trying to knock you off the road. The solution is to return the favor in kind. It is very easy to lose a good amount of life here very quickly. The boss of this stage is a truck with 3 sections that you have to destroy it by ramming it. Be careful that the knockback is huge, so make sure there's enough room before you attack it. Now, if you're not into high-speed races, then the puzzle world is the way to go. The rules of the puzzle are simple. You swap around pieces that has been scrambled back to its original state. While doing so, keep the train from popping the balloon that the Konami lady is holding by setting her from one end to the other. While my childhood self had a real difficult time with it, the me in the present time did not have any issues. You are rewarded with 2 extra lives for beating the stage. Can't say no to that. Next, we hit the world of Getsfuma Den. It is another platforming stage with some pretty annoying enemies that again comes at you from an angle your attacks cannot reach until it hits you. There are blocks in this stage that cannot be broken by Bill's guns, so if you reach to this part as him, then you will have to transform to someone else or wait until your transformation timer runs out. The boss here is the Bone Dragon, which was also the final boss from the original game, but he seems to have hit the gym since then. Typically, it is safer to lure him close to the platform, so his fireballs land on top of it, leaving you safe to attack him without getting burned. Since I was already in Belmont's form, and I had a spare transformation, I simply brute forced it. Next comes another stage selection. We are now hopping on the Vic Viper and going to the Gradius stage. If you are not familiar with Gradius, it is basically a side-scrolling shooter where you can upgrade your fighter by gathering capsules dropped from some enemies. We have a choice of the Japan or Moai stage. In the Japan stage, you fly above the buildings of old Japan, shooting ghost lanterns, fortune cats, octopus, and dancing lions. During the middle section of the stage, these bamboos will extend out and hit you by surprise. But if you stick to the right side of the screen, you should be safe from these bamboos. The boss of this stage is a giant crab that extends its claws and shoots out smaller crabs that can drop capsules. Destroy its claws first, then focus on breaking the barriers in the center, and destroy the green ball at the end. For the Moai stage, the enemies are ancient idols, sphinx, and of course, the Moais. The rings these Moais spit out can overwhelm you quickly, so smash those buttons and take them out fast. There is generally more things going on the screen compared to the Japan stage. Once you get through the pillars, you then encounter a bunch of these heads that shoots bubbles at you. These are actually worse than the Moais. The boss are these Chinese zombies with a head of Moai that spits out the Chinese character curse at you. Not a very difficult boss, but this is not the end. Just as we're about to hit the final stage, we get assaulted by a battleship. You will reach this part regardless of which stage you choose. In here, you will be flying around the giant ship while taking out its guns and turrets on the way. You will then end up at the front of the ship again, and now to destroy the barriers in the center. Unlike the crab, every barrier you break, its pieces will fly out at you, so make sure you're not too close to it when you break them. And once you destroy the giant crystal ball, you will destroy the ship, and we will be done with this stage. Now finally, we are coming close to the end. In the last stage, we start out with a Frogger-like minigame, where you'll have to time your movement, or get knocked out, or fall. Getting past the traffic, we are now entering the castle, or Castlevania. There are the typical bats, vampires, mermaids, medusas, and Frankenstein's monsters here. The mid-boss is a coffin with feet that attacks you with gloves on springs. It has a very simple pattern, so with a bit of patience, it is no sweat. We are now in an area never seen before. We are almost there. I like the little details with the propellers under the land, showing you how the castle floats. At the end, there's a hole that we jump into to face the one who had kidnapped Princess Herb, the magician Warumon. He shoots out 4 gear-shaped rings that homes at you. The only way to damage him is hitting his head. It is really difficult to fight as Rico, because the only way to reach him is double jumping. Touching the boss's face also damages you, so it is a lot of pain to try to attack him without taking a lot of hits. And this is where Bill comes in. Just shoot up until he falls. We rescue the princess out of the cage, and she thanks us for the hard work. And this is Konami's Wai Wai World 2. Hopefully I was able to demonstrate why I think this was one of the best NES game out there. If you enjoyed this, please like the video and subscribe to the channel for more. I will see you in the next video.